Well, the oil industry may be in the doldrums, but renewable energy is heating up, much like global temperatures, which have hit a new record high after the hottest June ever. Let's take a look at the countries leading the dash to emissions-free energy. Well, I'm pleased to say we're now joined by Tony Juniper. He's a sustainability advisor and environmentalist who previously served as executive director of Friends of the Earth. He joins us now from Cambridge in the United Kingdom. Simple question really, Tony. You saw the report on Norway. Would you classify Norway as an environmental good guy or bad guy?
Well, at home, the Norwegians are leading on renewable energy. They have nearly all of their electricity coming from hydropower, clean hydropower. They're looking at laws now to ban the internal combustion engine in the country, so doing a great deal for air pollution and climate change through that route. But of course, on the global stage, they are one of the biggest suppliers of oil and gas. Now, if we want Norway to be more sustainable from the point of view of not exporting oil and gas, then I guess it's up to the rest of us to stop buying it and maybe to follow Norway's lead by going for clean transport and power generation in countries across the world. Because if we are to avoid catastrophic consequences arising from climate change in the decades ahead, the unfortunate reality is that most of the oil and gas and coal that we know about in the world today has to remain right where it is in the rocks. And so Norway's leadership at home, I think, really is about leadership everywhere else too.
OK, so Norway is doing very well at home, but it is still selling a lot of oil and gas. So if you took the entire picture of Norway, would you say that it is having, what sort of net effect are we seeing?
I think that the net effect would be negative in terms of the vast amounts of oil and gas it's putting into the global market. Of course, the other thing to bear in mind is Norway's leadership on combating deforestation across the world in terms of helping to slow down the loss of the tropical rainforests in Guyana, in Indonesia, in Liberia. A great deal of effort and money from Norway is going into some really quite innovative projects that are making a difference on the ground. But I think if you looked at the overall picture in terms of the carbon balance, then what they're selling in terms of oil and gas is leading to a negative equation. But at the end of the day, I think this is about all the rest of us not buying it and doing what they've done at home and making truly green, sustainable economies.
Tony, you mentioned temperatures there. We've seen for the last 14 months temperatures breaking records every single month. But we've also just seen that little graphic there showing that investment in renewables is at an all-time high. What do you make of that? Do you think it will cancel out eventually and we'll see temperatures peaking and then perhaps going back down?
That of course, is the long-term hope. One of the encouraging things in the whole climate change debate is how the growth of renewables has confounded the critics who said it would be too expensive, it wouldn't work, the technology wasn't ready. All of those things have been proven to be false. We now have solar power competing with coal favourably in many countries across the world. We've had massive increase in the installation of wind power, and we have some really exciting technological breakthroughs coming with electric vehicles and electricity storage systems. And all these things, I think, bode very well for the future. But the big question is whether this is going fast enough to be able to avoid the potential catastrophe that will come with unmanageable global warming. And unfortunately, it isn't yet. We do need to be speeding up the deployment of clean energy, and we need to be phasing out fossil energy much more quickly, and also investing much more in slowing down deforestation across the tropical regions in particular, where so much carbon is stored in the tropical rainforests and in the soils underneath them. And actually, that's one of the biggest hits we could get alongside renewable energy, is to be saving those tropical forests and at the same time getting huge huge benefits for water security and therefore food security, and conserving what is actually the powerhouse of natural diversity on Earth in terms of animals and plants. All of these things can be done. This is the great news I think we have to communicate in the midst of all of this. And actually lots is being done, but much more is needed, and very quickly.
Tony Juniper, the former Executive Director of Friends of the Earth, thank you very much for joining us from Cambridge. Well, we've covered everything from climate change to insider trading and a Malaysian scandal involving priceless art and the Wolf of Wall Street. But for now, that is all from me, Matthew Moore, and all the Money Talks team. Thank you for watching.